Welcome to the Wealth Embodied podcast. I'm your host, Brianna Faringer, an attorney, spiritual guide, and wealth activator. I'm here to help you align your mindset for abundance and break through any glass ceilings with money. If you're ready to embrace your highest calling, manifest with more ease, and create a life that feels lighter and more aligned, then let's dive in. Hello, welcome to the Wealth Embodied podcast. I'm your host, Brianna. Thank you so much for listening. I appreciate you tuning in. So I'm going to talk about something today that affects everybody. I know it affects everybody. It doesn't matter who you are, where you're at in your life. This is something you have definitely dealt with at one point in time, if not multiple points in time. And it is about timing. And I want to talk about timing versus divine timing. And I really kind of feel like those are the same thing, but I will talk about the distinction between the two and why I think it's so important to be paying attention to the timing of things, because it really does affect what's happening in your life. And I mean, this is what I would say. And this is a rhetorical question, but have you ever wanted something so badly and it's just not going the way that you planned, right? This happens all the time. Or you are planning on something happening on a certain timeline and it's not happening for whatever reason. There could be a lot of reasons that things are not lining up, but I'm bringing this up because a lot of times we have things happening in our lives, and I know people, they have what feels like resistance, and they're not necessarily paying attention to what that resistance is and why it's coming up. And there's different reasons that resistance is coming up, right, in our lives. So sometimes when we're experiencing resistance, it's because it's the very thing we need to lean into so that we can grow. And I can give some examples of that. But this happens a lot in our lives, right? We experience resistance because we have fear around something. Something is new, something feels uncomfortable, it's something we haven't done before. And we may prevent ourselves from actually doing it because it feels scary. But if you just do the thing, you may realize that it was the very thing that you needed to go through so that you could become a better version of yourself. And that's a lot of times what resistance is. Sometimes we're experiencing resistance because it's just not the thing for you, right? And I can also give you some examples of that. But the examples I'm going to give you are going to seem super easy. Like, oh yeah, I'm experiencing resistance because I don't like that thing, versus resistance arising as a result of something that you need to move through. Another component of this is timing. You may be experiencing resistance to something in your life because it's just simply not the right time. It might not be that it's not aligned for you. And these things are very difficult to sort out if you are constantly letting your mind run the show. And I'm going to, get into more detail about all of these and give you some examples and talk about ways that you can overcome this. But I mean, this is something I see with a lot of people that I work with one-on-one. It's also something that I'm experiencing right now in my own life, is a timing disruption, I would call it. I'm going through something where I can recognize, okay, the timing of this thing just isn't right. It's not that it's not aligned, it's just not aligned right now. And it was aligned a year ago and a year before that, but for whatever reason, it's not aligned right now. And I'm okay with that. And I'm going to talk about the things that come up, which is not trying to control timelines, not trying to control the how, recognizing how things feel, not just what your mind is telling you. But sometimes things are not just wrong, they're just not ready. And the only way you can start to discern that for yourself is by paying attention to how you feel. And this is a common theme in my podcast and in all of the work that I do. You have to pay attention to how you feel. It's not just about what your mind is telling you. Your mind will lie to you, your body will not. When you are trying to make a decision about something or trying to figure out, okay, this doesn't feel great and I don't know why, Stop letting your mind run the show. Your mind's going to tell you all of these things. Well, this isn't happening because of this or that. And all, business coaches are going to be like, well, this isn't happening because of this. It might just be that it's not aligned for you right now and you're not paying attention, right? So I'm going to go through this with more specificity so that this makes some sense, but I'll give you an example. I'm sure you know this if you've listened to the podcast. I'm an attorney. I went to law school. I was 30, my first year of law school. That was not the first attempt I made at law school. I was planning to go straight from undergrad. And I took the LSAT, I applied to schools, and something happened in my life that completely disrupted all of the plans that I had at that time. Law school, everything. It brought my life to a screeching halt. It was a horrible situation that happened in my life. Am I saying that happened to prevent me from going to law school? Not necessarily, but I do think as I look back on it and I can see how the timing of me going at a different point in my life made such a significant difference, I realized that trying to go at the time I was going was not aligned. Now, this was, 25 years ago that I was going to go. And I can't tell you all of the other things that were happening in my life at the time. There were probably signs, there were probably messages, things that were telling me this isn't a good time to go. And I just, at that time, wasn't paying attention to those, because for me, for the large majority of my life, if I wanted to do something and I set out to do it, I made it happen. Well, life changed and I had circumstances that made it very clear that was not the time for me to go. And I wasn't sure I would ever go. I thought, okay, well, I'm just going to come back to this at a later point in time. I started a career. I had a very good job at a good company that I thought I would probably be at for a long time. And then there was a point at which that didn't feel aligned anymore. So I went back to considering law school and I ended up going. And now here I am. And I can see how the timing of that was much more aligned for me to go at a later point in my life, which I'm not going to get into, but this is an example of what I'm talking about. In the moment, something may feel like it's not going the way that you want it to go, and that can be for a lot of reasons. One of them can be timing, and you may be saying, how am I supposed to figure that out? Well, it can be hard to figure out. You can't do it if you're not in your body, though. That's the starting point, is how can you practice presence? How can you get more presence in your life and get out of your head and be in the present moment? And if you're listening to this, you can't see me, but I'm just taking a big breath in and closing my eyes and letting it out. Like that for me is a way to bring me into the present. This is not a difficult thing, you guys. You don't have to sit down and meditate for 30 minutes to become present. Just resetting and starting to observe your thoughts and what's happening in the body can bring you into the present. And the more you practice that, the more you can start to say, how am I feeling around this thing? And why does it feel like I'm having some resistance? Is it not aligned for me at all? That may not be true. Or is it just not aligned right now? And a lot of times it's a timing issue. And that's okay, right? You don't have to know the answer to that. But what I'm talking about this because I want you to be aware that you may have things happening in your life that are signaling to you that something is maybe, I don't like to use the word wrong, but not going the way that you want it to. And I would look at that and say, why is this happening? And say, I'm open to the ways that it can be revealed to me of why this doesn't feel the way that I thought, or why it doesn't feel the way I want it to. And I'm going to give you another example. This has been very present in my life for the last year. So I have 3 businesses. One of them largely runs on its own. It's a real estate investment. I'm also a lawyer. We have multiple lawyers at our law firm. I've got partners in that business that have to be very present in and working in on a regular basis, although I'm mostly part-time. My other business, it's just me. I don't have other people involved. It's me. I'm a mindset guide and a spiritual guide. And for the last couple years, I've felt very aligned with the offerings that I had, and a lot of the ways that I was marketing that business. So last year around this time, I started to not feel aligned with things. I started to feel, number one, that one of the programs that had been really a main part of my offering didn't really feel that aligned. That's okay, that happens. Things that we offer may not, they just may need to be changed for some reasons. But the other thing was, I was doing a lot of group events, in-person events, networking, attending things, and really liked that. But about a year ago, I started to feel like this doesn't feel good. It just doesn't feel good. I don't know how else to explain this to you then, other than to say, I started to feel like every time I was going to a group event, I didn't want to go. That doesn't mean I forever, categorically for the rest of my life, group events are no longer aligned. It just means I have to be a lot more thoughtful about the situations I put myself in, number one. I need to be more mindful about how I'm willing to spend my energy, because I was feeling very like all of my energy was being zapped out of me when I was going to some of these events, which is not how I had felt before. And I was just recognizing that. It's frustrating to have things go differently than the way you thought. But I don't really question, why is this happening? I may ask that and just say, I'm open to the reasons that this is happening, but I'm not going to constantly be like, why? I've talked about this before. The energy of why is a blocking energy. If you feel like you can't move on with your life without the answer to a question why, you're actually preventing the flow of energy and the flow of information coming to you. So I say, okay, I don't know why this is happening, but I'm open to information about it. And until I get guidance on how to do things differently, I'm just not going to do these things. And every once in a while I check in with myself and I say, do I want to do this event? And I say yes or no. And really, one of the last group events I did was in October of last year. I went to a women's conference, one of the bigger ones that I had traveled to 2 years previous. And after that event, I was like, I don't think I can do this ever again. And it has nothing to do with the event. I loved the event. I love the person that puts it on. I love the content. But it felt energetically overwhelming for me. Right? So my mind is telling me something different than my body is telling me. My mind is saying, I want to keep doing this event because I like it, but my body is like, no. You need to be paying attention to what is going on around you. And that's the message I want to relay to you today as you're thinking about this timing issue. How does it feel? Things are not supposed to feel heavy all the time. They're not supposed to feel hard all the time. They're not supposed to feel like this is never going the way I'm planning it. If you are having that constantly happening, you need to ask yourself, is this thing not aligned for me, or is it just not aligned right now? That's a hard question to answer if you are not in tune with yourself and how you feel. So I would start there. Getting presence, tuning in with your body, asking, how do I feel when I'm putting myself in this situation? How am I feeling when I'm doing this thing? How do I feel when I think about this timeline not going the way I thought it was going to? And saying, can I just allow it to play out the way it needs to play out, whatever that is, without me controlling it, and just letting it be whatever it's going to be without having to figure out why, what it is that I need to do differently, and just kind of letting things sit. Now, this has been going on for me for a year. And the thing I will say is, people are going to be listening to this and be like, that's a long time to feel that way. Not necessarily. It's a long time if you think it is. So that's number one. Number two, the way it has felt has changed over that year, right? So there's some things in my business that have become very clear to me that I need to take more action on, and I am. And there are some things that I'm like, I might not offer that anymore, and that's okay. And then I've just decided I'm not doing a whole lot of group events unless it just feels really like something it feels really good, like I really want to do, and it's going to be energetically, it's going to raise my vibration and not feel like all my energy is being zapped from me. The other thing I will tell you that I do is I don't do this alone. So, yes, I am a spiritual guide, and yes, I channel a lot of information for myself. I'm constantly getting messages about how to move forward in my life. If that's not happening for you, that's okay. You don't need to have that happen for you. What I would suggest you do, though, is being open to asking people for help, whether it's from a spiritual perspective or maybe from a business perspective, or just asking people that you trust and know, hey, this thing doesn't feel good. Can I talk to you about it and get your input on it? People are going to probably give you a lot of 3D, practical, masculine energy type responses. Oh, like, this is a business, you need to do this, or like, right? But it's still worth getting input from other people. If what I do is I get spiritual guidance from other people. I go see other guides. I love receiving messages from other people. I can get a lot of information for myself, but I actually prefer to be in the energy of receiving from other people and be very unattached to the outcome and the information. And I did that recently. I went and saw somebody that I've seen for many years. I saw her a couple weeks ago, and she confirmed for me that there's a timing element that is taking place, and I just have to let it play out. And I knew that, but it was nice to have it confirmed for me. And so that's another thing I would throw out there for you is, if you believe in getting spiritual guidance from other people and getting channeled messages, that's a way that you can get information for yourself to be like, okay, this confirmed what I thought, or, oh, I didn't know if this was a timing issue or not, and so now I do or I don't. So, I mean, you don't have to go everything alone. And you also don't have to be in the energy of questioning things all the time. Let your body guide you based on how you feel. And so I'm giving you just some examples from my own life, from more of kind of like a business perspective or an action taking perspective around, like my career. You could be experiencing this around a relationship, around something else in your life. This can relate to anything. Sometimes the timing of things isn't great. And what I mean by that is, it might not be the right time for you to do something, meaning to bring something into your life, and it may not be the time for you to move something out of your life. You have to just be aware of who you are as a person, how you move through the world. I believe human design is an excellent way of trying to gain that information if you don't know it already. But most people have a sense of, oh, this is how I am. This is how I like to do things. This is how I move through the world. Human design can help you really, I think, key in on and get confirmation for yourself of how you operate and how you best operate and move through the world, so that you can get confirmation of, oh yes, this is how I work best to make decisions. This is how I work best, in this particular type of a situation. But just becoming so in tune with yourself and how you feel, not what your mind thinks, how you feel. So listening to and paying attention to the external signs. Are there things happening around you that are showing you this may not be aligned timing? Repeated obstacles, paperwork issues, delays by other people, things that are constantly feeling like they're requiring you to push or give force to them. Things shouldn't have to be that hard. We tell ourselves, oh, things should be hard. No, they should not be. It's okay for things to feel hard sometimes, but it shouldn't feel like that all the time. That's resistance. And you have to be paying attention to that, or otherwise you're just going to it's like just banging your head against a wall. You're like, I want to do this. I want to do this. I want to do this. You're going to have obstacles come up that say either this is not aligned for you or it's not aligned for you right now. Pay attention. How does your body feel? Do you feel tight? Do you feel heavy? Do you feel anxiety? Do you feel light? Do you feel frustrated? Like, what is it? Give the feeling a name and start to identify it. So you're like, okay, this is how I'm feeling every time I go to do this thing. It feels this way, right? If something is feeling in a way that you should be interpreting as resistance, you have to be honest with yourself and be like, okay, this isn't maybe the thing right now, or maybe just the way I'm doing it isn't working. That doesn't mean it's not aligned for you. You just may need to tweak things. And taking action, by the way, can do that, right? So as I go back to kind of when I was just saying, if you are listening to me talking about my experience over the last year and you're like, a year is a long time, I'm not just sitting around doing nothing. I'm taking actions on the things that I know I need to take action on. And just so you know, taking action always moves energy. When you take action, things happen around you so that you can be like, oh, this is working, or no, this is not working. And then you can change the action that you're taking. That's a different and apart question from mindset, right? Everything in your life has two components, mindset and action. When you align your mindset with your action, you get aligned results. When you are just constantly taking action without recognizing the thoughts that are going on in your mind, you're going to make things harder for yourself. That's another thing to be aware of. You may be creating resistance for yourself because you are constantly pushing and pushing and pushing to take action without regard to the mindset that you have. It's two things. You have to pay attention to what your thoughts are, what your body is telling you, and the action you're taking. But if things are feeling stuck, like if you get into a timing issue where like, okay, things don't feel like this is not the right time, you can take action on other things and it's going to reveal itself to you the way that you need to go. You just have to pay attention to the clues, pay attention to the external signs, pay attention to the internal signs. What is happening around you? What are people doing? What are the things that are coming up? A lot of people just aren't paying attention to what's happening around them. They just think the world is moving around them in a way that's not connected to what they're doing, when it's actually a direct response to everything that you're doing. Every single person that's coming into your life is a direct response to a mindset or action that you're taking. Every single thing that's happening in your world is a direct response to your mindset or an action that you're taking, always. Things are not coincidences, guys. There's no such thing as a coincidence in my world. You can think differently, but every single thing that's happening around you is a consequence of an action that you're taking or a mindset that you have. So be aware of it. Just pay attention. And not all resistance is a stop sign. It may just be, again, is this the type of resistance that I need to move through so I can grow? Is this timing resistance? Is this thing just not aligned for me? I'll give you an example of something that's not aligned for you. Like I love a lot of sports, right? Like I played basketball growing up. I played tennis competitively. I play golf. Those are sports that I really like. I'll tell you a sport I don't like. And if you like the sport, please don't take offense. It's just that I don't get joy out of playing it. Softball and baseball. I have zero interest in those things, right? So if somebody called me and was like, hey, do you want to go play like baseball or softball with us? I would be like, no, right? I'm not experiencing resistance to that because it's the thing I need to lean into to grow. I don't like softball. I already know that about myself. I don't need to do an internal investigation about that. Differently, I'll give you an example where this may not be clear. A lot of people feel resistance to doing things in a group because they may have social anxiety. They may have fear of being seen. They may have fear of looking stupid. There's a lot of reasons people have fears about being seen in a group or going to group events and having to meet new people. That is often the type of resistance that people need to move through to grow. Not always, but more often than not. If you're a person that's like, I have tried every group event and it just doesn't feel aligned for me, maybe you've decided for yourself it's just not aligned, but I would not categorically cut that one off. Whereas maybe I'll change my belief about softball. I'm open to that possibility. Maybe I would want to do it at a later point in time, but right now I don't like it. So I'm just throwing this out there because there are things that many people experience resistance to: speaking in front of a group, going to group events, meeting new people. Those can all be stressful situations for anyone, even if you are used to doing it. That's the kind of thing that's resistance that people like, growth resistance. Whereas timing resistance is just, okay, this feels like the thing I'm supposed to be doing, but maybe the universe is showing me that the timing of this is not aligned. That doesn't mean you should put it down and not come back to it. It just means you need to pay attention. And this is just all about exercising discernment instead of using your mind to be like, do this thing or don't do this thing, right? When you have timing resistance, you're going to feel frustrated and very attached to the outcome. When it's just not aligned for you at all, there's usually a different feeling, and you have to tune into that for yourself to figure that out. I can't be the one to tell you that, although I can help you start to recognize like, oh, like for me, if I feel really heavy in my stomach, it means it's not a great thing, whatever the thing is, right? To me, that's a no. If I were to say, is this the thing for me? And I feel a heavy sense of dread in my stomach, that is to me, because I'm used to the way I feel and the signs I get in my body, that's a pretty clear no to me. It might be different for you. You might feel it somewhere else in your body, which is why I'm telling you, you need to tune in for yourself. I can help guide you if that's something you need help with. But the way that you feel and get messages in your own body may be different from the way I do and other people do. We all experience things differently. So tuning in to yourself, how your body communicates with you, and asking it if this is not yet or not this thing. Right? And those are important questions to ask, and being open to the ways that it can be revealed to you. Stop asking why. Stop trying to control the outcome. Stop trying to control the how, and just let it be. And normalize not figuring it out alone. You're not in this alone. You can ask people for help. Go see a spiritual guide. Ask them about, things that you are having a hard time discerning for yourself. And the more information you get, the easier it's going to become for you to discern things for yourself in future situations that do arise. So, replacing impatience with grounded action, replacing frustration with presence, replacing the why with I'm open to all of the ways that this can play out. Just making some of those minimal changes in your life and starting to recognize, is this a timing issue or is it something else, can really, really dramatically change how you are responding to what's happening in your life. And so, here's some questions I would have you think of if you want to journal on this, or just kind of, see what's coming up, which is, what am I pushing that might simply need more time? Is there something I'm pushing right now that just may need more time? What would change if I trusted how it unfolded on its own without me trying to control the outcome? Right? And how would I feel if I could just stop worrying about this thing or stop trying to control this thing? How would it feel in my body? And just starting to ask some of those questions so you can start to figure out, okay, can I let this thing go and just let it play out how it's supposed to? Like, that's where I'm at right now. I know that this feeling I have is going to change. I'm not trying to control when it happens. And I don't actually think about it too much. I just know that if I continue to follow the path, take action on the things I know I'm supposed to take action on, listen to the messages, pay attention to the things happening around me, pay attention to my body, everything is going to go exactly how it needs to go. I don't really need to worry about it because I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow anyway. I don't know what's going to happen 5 minutes from now. So surrendering, trusting, knowing that everything is going to unfold exactly the way it's supposed to, like what I shared with you about my law school story, I can look back and see so clearly that I was not supposed to go to law school at that time. I just wasn't. And the way that things did go, because I did wait and go at a later point in time, really, really set me up for success in a way that I couldn't have seen when I was 22 years old. And so that's, I trust in that. I look back and I say, oh yeah, that was a very, very clear in hindsight scenario that I can look to and say, that was divine timing. And so that for me, it allows me, that's proof for me to move forward and say, things are going to work out exactly the way that they're supposed to work out. I don't need to control it. I don't need it to happen now. And so, yeah, I would really encourage you to journal about it, meditate on it, ask your body how it's feeling around certain things, ask if there's some timing issues that are coming up in your life, and reaching out for guidance. Reach out to me, reach out to people reach out to friends. If you want to do a session with me, I'm happy to do that. I do 30-minute sessions. I do that because they're quick and to the point, and you can get an enormous amount of information in 30 minutes that can completely change the way that you move through the world. And there's a lot of other people that can do that too, right? If you have somebody like a guide that you've seen that you like, great, go see that person, but don't go it alone. There's a lot of people to help you figure out, are things aligned for me? And if so, are they just not aligned right now? Thank you for listening. I really appreciate you tuning in. Have a great day. Bye. Hey, before you go, would you love to receive my 3-step masterclass to easily create and hold wealth for free? It's called Effortless Money, and it includes the exact framework to start attracting money effortlessly and manifesting abundance with more ease. If you want it for free, all you have to do is leave an honest review of the Wealth Embodied podcast, take a screenshot of this episode and put it in your Instagram stories and tag me at Brianna_Faringer, and we will send you the free Effortless Money Masterclass. This is how my clients have manifested a $13,000 check, a promotion resulting in a $30,000 salary increase, and significantly improved relationships. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I'll see you next time on the Wealth Embodied podcast.